Can you state your name and your career?
Yes, I'm Marv Franks, currently teaching math at Hope High School.
Can you tell us about the place you were born?
I was born in a rural Arkansas town in the Ozarks.
As a child, what did you do in the summer?
In the summer, there wasn't a lot to do. Nearly 3/4 of a century ago, threw rocks at other little buddies down the gravel road. Would sometimes swim in the creek. Sometimes I would pick poke salad and sell it for a penny a pound. Just normal kid stuff. Back in the day, televisions weren't available. Telephones, cell phones, and all the like were non-existent and all of that. So it was a pretty countrified, hillbilly existence.
What was one of your favorite childhood memories?
Well, favorite childhood memories probably running and romping around with my dog. Fine Heinz variety, Mutt.
How large was your family?
My family consisted of me and mother and a father.
When you were about 13, what was it like in your home in the evenings?
When I was about 13 in the evenings, well, I recall doing homework when I had homework by the light of a kerosene lamp. Didn't give me good visibility, no television to watch, things like that. There were always chores and work to do and things of that nature.
Okay. How did you get to school?
I got to school by either riding a big old giant yellow school bus or walking down the gravel road. Sometimes I'd hitchhike or catch a ride with a farmer in an old pickup. Sometimes I would ride my bicycle.
Describe the clothing styles when you were in high school.
Clothing when I was in high school was very basic. Blue jeans or overalls and a shirt, and shoes were basically just old worker, 6-inch high brown lace-up kind of a work shoe affair.
How was the social life?
What social life? Back in the day, for fun, things that we would do when I was a teenager, once in a great while, members of my class and other friends, we would get together and do a hay ride. That's where we'd put some hay on somebody's old farm wagon and hitch up a couple of horses, or if we could get an old tractor to run, we would drive around over the country roads for about an hour or so, and that was fun.
What time did your school start in the morning and end in the afternoon? And what month did it start and end?
The school always started after Labor Day, depending on the day of the week, so that was into September, and it would always end in May. The date that I graduated high school was the 11th of May, and that's when school was out for everyone. And the day was, as best I recall, since it was a long time ago, was about 8 a.m. to 3:30.
How old were you when you started dating?
When I started dating, well, when I was 14, I had a good buddy, and she was a charming young lady. She was 18, and we had a lot of fun together.
What did you do when you were out on a date, group or otherwise?
Well, sometimes out on a date, like I said, we might be on one of those wonderful hay rides, and looking at the stars or talking, or sometimes we would go in the middle of the day, a bunch of us might get together and go swimming in the lake or some creek. If someone had borrowed some watermelons, we might go down to the creek side and enjoy watermelons with the ladies.
What was a Saturday like when you were in grade school and in high school?
Saturdays on grade school time frame were very basic. Sometimes I would get to ride to town with someone, a neighbor or folks, family or something, and they used to have a drawing every Saturday in town, and they would give away, I think it was a total of $20. They would have drawings, and you get like $1. 4 or 5 people would get $1, and the second, next to the last drawing, someone got like a $5 bill, and the grand drawing, this is all sponsored by the businesses in town to get people to come in and buy their goods and things, would get a $10 bill. Wow.
What age were you when you got married?
Well, I got married in my 20s.
Okay. Was your school segregated?
No, where I went to school in rural Arkansas in the Ozarks, there were laws on the books of the town called sundown laws, which prohibited anyone of color being inside the city limits after the sun went down.
Did your school integrate, and what was the experience like?
No, there was, as I said, people abided the law back in the day, and there was no groups of persons to integrate the system.
What type of chores did you have to do?
Too many. There was anything from cutting and chopping firewood and cutting splinter wood for the cook stove, because we cooked with wood, firewood, had to hunt and shoot squirrels and rabbits for meat to eat, wood, carried water from the creek for it to drink and to cook with and things. You name it, kids in the day were tasked to do it.
What kind of car did you have, your first car?
My first car I got when I was 14. I had a nice old horse, an old mare, and I had the rigging, the saddle and the bridle and all. And when it was time to date a little bit, I decided it was time to sell my horse. I sold the horse and tack for $75, and for $65 I bought an old car, an old Ford. And I thought it was pretty good shape, but I was a stupid kid and didn't know any better. And I drove that thing not 20 miles and it started smoking like crazy. So that was a bad experience.
How much did gas cost?
The price of gasoline was anywhere from 11 to 19 cents a gallon. There were a lot of gas wars at the time, and that, you have to remember, back in the day, school lunches were 20 cents. For $1, you could eat lunch in a cafeteria all week long. And it wasn't just a little smidgen of this and a smidgen of that. When they fed us, the lunches were made from commodities, and we could go back and get 2 or 3 servings if we wanted.
What was your first job?
My first job I hired out when I was 8 years old, helping a neighbor farmer, and I had to be there by sunup. I worked with him all day long, helping him in the hayfield, and at the end of the day, when the sun went down, I walked home and had $1 in each hand.
Okay, how were the wages?
Wages? What wages? I've worked so many hours for $1 or $2 a day. I remember when I started earning 50 cents an hour, I thought I was getting rich. And I worked all the way up to 65 cents an hour at a job when I was in college. And, things have gotten a little better since then.
How much education did you need to get a good job?
Depending on your definition of good job, for some people, earning any money at all was a good job. For others, it was to earn maybe $50 a week, which was a high wage, because in the day, $10 of groceries would overflowed into one of the current day shopping carts. So $50 a week used to be a pretty good wage. That meant you was making $200 a month.
What did you do when you turned 18?
When I turned 18, I was enjoying being a sophomore at the University of Arkansas.
Final question. What kind of advice would you give to today's generation?
Today's generation, a lot of the same advice as what most people have. Be honest. Be true to yourself. Do the right thing in all situations. Earn, learn, give and care and share. Like I've said in all of my classes, you should learn all that you can so you can earn all you can, so that you can give and care and share and help all that you can.
Thank you for your time.
You're so welcome.